We know that you've come a long way, and we're really excited that you guys could come and be a part of the deeper learning with WeVideo. So before we get started, we've got a short video to get started with.
My name is Rachel Fambro. I'm an educational technology specialist, and I've been working in education for the last 11 years. There's a few features about WeVideo that helped us decide. One of those features is the connectivity to Google Everything. The fact that it connects to Google Drive and our students can navigate Google Drive rather easily. Anything that they save goes right to their Google Drive really was the catalyst for us to be our choice.
My name is Edward Gonzalez, and I'm a math intervention specialist at Emerson Middle School. The reason I like using WeVideo on Chromebooks in the classroom is that it gives kids access in a way that I hadn't seen. Before, you would have to work on a desktop computer that had specific software, or you would have to work only in a certain class. The Chromebook is where it really just revolutionizes the process, because now I don't have to share my laptop with a kid. Everybody has access. So it's a big deal. It's access. It's all about access.
The changes I've seen in students since they've started using WeVideo is an excitement when they're producing and creating something that demonstrates what they know. Those kids all of a sudden get in front of a video editing platform and they're the star. They're the one guiding everybody, and they really flourish. And so getting to see the kids be the leaders, to teach others, and to just succeed and flourish is the most exciting thing, is giving them a chance to win.
So yes, my name is Dee Lanier, and I am a director with EdTech team, work with the Dynamic Learning Project. Would love for you to check out dynamiclearningproject.com, find out more about that, but less about me and more about you, because I'm very glad to be in your midst, you guys. I recognize that I'm in a room full of artists. Who are all my artists out here? Let me see your hands. Okay, artists. You guys, you draw, you paint, you dance, you sing. Oh, play instruments? Excellent. Anybody likes to, they cook it up in the kitchen pretty nice, okay? Wait, every hand in here should have gone up. Who are my educators with me? You design experiences for students, for teachers, for your whole community. You are artists. Next time I ask, please raise your hand high. I am honored to be in your midst. Thank you, fellow artists and socialists. No. So if you did see the title of this talk, and it's called Design Teaching, maybe you were thinking, oh, he's going to teach us design, and we have our laptops out, and we're ready to sketch note, and you can do all of those things, but I'm not going to teach you any of those things, because some of those things I don't know how to do. But I'm hoping that you recognize the correlation between design thinking and teaching. So what is design teaching? Well, first of all, it's looking at all the problems that exist and saying, we're going to fix that. And we're going to fix it systematically if we have to, because problems exist in our classroom. Anybody else? Okay, so I had you brag on yourselves. You're all artists. Okay, are you chaotic artists? Meaning when it comes to classroom management, you're like, okay, guys, please. Guys, please. Okay, me too. Okay, I'm with you. All right, design thinking. I know you're familiar, right? I love me some design thinking. And we're going to consider, how can we design think our classrooms, okay? That's what we're doing. So backing it up real quick, because you're like, oh, those kids were cute. Whose kids are those? Those are my kids, okay? And we think of empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. It's a lot to remember and order and all that. And the way that I remember it is every day is party time. Okay, every day is party time. Now you won't forget it, because that's what my twins think. Every day at 6 a.m. is party time. Go back to bed, go into a quiet space, read a book, do something, just stop making noise. I would like to sleep today. But every day is party time to them, and they're adorable, right? Look at them. Aw, they're 8 now, but there's the rest of the fam. Aw, okay, this is also where I get sympathy, because you're like, well, how many kids he got? Because this is Ellis and her brother Silas, and they are 8. This is Landis. This is the wild card, y'all, and she is 9. Gosh, follow my wife, Stacy, and you'll see videos of her. She's nuts. And this is Karis, and she's 12. You see how tall she is? Yes, and I know I'm in trouble. And this is my wife, Stacy, and she is tired. right? She's like, come home now. You're where? You're having fun? Don't show me any more pictures of cheesesteaks. I don't care. You left me here with these kids. All right, so a little bit more get to know you real quick. So this was my childhood. Anybody else? All right, I know I got some geeks in the room. Okay, bonus points. Who knows what this is? Close, ColecoVision. ColecoVision. This was my first drone. All right, it was awesome. It was amazing. I actually traded this for the ColecoVision. My mom was all mad. I'm like, but it was kind of cool, but I like to play video games. Where my people at? My people. Commodore 64? Plug that bad boy up to a television? Ready to go. Oh, the dark ages. All right, here's the question. If I had candy to pass out, I would pass out for this one. How much storage is on this? Uh-oh. Go ahead. The answer's not socialist.
I'm not going to down.
No.
1.2 megabytes.
Ooh, we got some clear no's. Anybody know definitively? No one's Google searching, which is amazing.
1.44.
That's the upgrade.
512K.
512K. I wish I had candy, sir. Bruce for the win. Which is crazy because if you consider the last 4 pictures I just showed you would not fit on that disc. That's crazy. That was my childhood. And this is my adult childhood. All right. You guys, I'm not kidding when I say I think I'm Tony Stark. I walk into my house. I have a projector. I have like 27 different bulbs connected. Like, it's stupid. It's really ridiculous. But I do the basics as well as the crazy extravagant. But I say to Google stuff like, hey, I would like for you to add this event to my calendar. And it says, okay, D, I got you. I'll do that. I'm like, cool. I don't even have to think about it. But every now and then it fails. True story. And that was a double fail. Wait for it. Somebody caught that. All right. So can I get a witness? Tech in the classroom sometimes can be very disruptive. You guys agree with me? I know you guys agree with me. It's a pain in the butt, isn't it? How disruptive tech can be. Intercoms? Kidding me? Most disruptive tech that has existed in the classroom for years. I know a person who happens to have a switch to cut it off in her room. And I'm like, I need to know your tech person. All right. Okay, so before this started, you got to see a very well-produced video. What I'm going to show you next is a very non-well-produced video. Not only is it really bad quality, sorry, Gemsil, but what you're going to witness is some serious problems. I want you to think some of the problems from my first couple of years teaching. Did you read that word?
Bone.
What's the next word? Stop being difficult.
I don't know that.
What word did you have down? What word is that?
I don't know. That's a smile.
Facsimile. Anybody know what a facsimile machine is?
Yeah. It's some type of computer.
Anybody heard of a fax machine?
Yeah.
That's all facsimile is. Fax is short for facsimile. Okay? So when you read that word, everybody knows what it is, right?
A fax machine.
A fax machine. So the world has been made smaller through technology, through such things as computers and
But I had a word wall,
fax
y'all.
machines and telephones.
I had my rules clearly posted, except for that one fell down. I'd ask you the question, like, what was wrong there? But I really don't want you to hurt my feelings that bad. Just leave it alone. We all know, right? Who was talking the most, who was standing at the front, and who was sleeping. Oh, gosh, there's so much I could say about this, but I'm going to move it on. Here's the deal. I believe that good design achieves its intended outcome. And based on the design of that classroom, I was getting exactly what should have been expected. But I wasn't getting what I wanted. And so I recognized my kids don't care. They give a crap about this curriculum. And really the way that I'm doing it is clearly not working. So something has to change. So that became my mission. How can I change it so that I'm no longer sitting in my car crying after work, figuring out how am I going to get through to these kids? Because I signed up for this
vocation of education in order to make a difference. When you got kids sleeping in class, I know that's not happening, right? So decided, let's do some things different. I had to stop. I had to stop what I was, can I just say it, trained to do. My first aid kit, and where I got, the great idea to have the word wall and the clearly posted rules, and where I would stand outside of my classroom and look my kids in the eye and put my hand out and say, "Hi, I'm Mr. Lanier." And the kids would just walk by me and be like, "Get out my face." And I'm like, what in the world? Okay, our hero. But what do you do when your first aid doesn't work? Got to go somewhere else. And I started noticing some of the things. So I would have standards, objectives, and essential questions written on the board. The kids were expected to come in quietly, take out a piece of paper, and to write those things down. And if this is your classroom experience, please don't raise your hand, because we all know this is what we're doing. And I was putting them to sleep as soon as we started. And I realized something's got to change. So I just stopped doing that. I'll tell you a little bit more as to why I think it makes sense to change some of that. Like, just think about it. I'm a big movie fan. And who goes to the movie to see this first? I mean, even if a Marvel film, you're not going to go see that first, right? And that's kind of like what we do when we put those things on the board. Check this out. I took a picture at one of the schools in what I supported, the Dynamic Learning Project, and I was like, oh, this is perfect, because this is what I used to do too, because it was expected of me in order to have my state standards posted. You said it, I didn't, all right? You get in trouble if you want to. Okay, so this is an art class. Who's excited for art after reading that? I can't wait to do that. And what if this is the first thing you have to write when you come in? And if you're in 4th grade, are you kidding me? No joke. That was posted outside of this classroom in Pittsburgh. Poor design, in my opinion. I took that same thing and I put it through a readability score. Are you kidding me? Who is it written for? Truly, clearly, easily, recognizable, not for the kids. They were doing this that day. See the disconnect? All right. So why is this important? Let me ask you this. What's your favorite movie? Godfather. Oh, I'd ask you why, but I'm scared. We're good. We're good. Very good to meet you, Roland. All right. So just think about whatever your favorite movie is. You guys can probably tell I'm a superhero fan. I sport superhero shirts on the regular. This was like my normal attire in the classroom. And this was my favorite movie of all time. Crazy. And the reason is because it's so much more than a superhero film. Because if I can tell you that as a man of color to recognize that I've always been a fan of superheroes like Luke Cage, or now there's Black Lightning, but these are heroes of the hood. And I thought what I needed, being from the hood, and what I thought that my kids would be inspired by if I had the opportunity to rewind and play it back, would be heroes from the hood. But to recognize, no, there's a hero that's bigger than that. So let you know, I went to go see Black Panther. I actually didn't see Black Panther on opening night. I saw Pantera Negra. I was in Costa Rica, and I was at an event, and I was like, I gotta go see it. It's opening night. And I'm looking at all of these pictures on Instagram, and people and seeing like blackouts at theaters, and some people know what I'm talking about, right? And wearing dashikis and doing Wakanda Forever. And I'm like, I'm there. I gotta see this movie, you guys. And I go to the movie, and I'm the only person of color there. Actually, that's incorrect. I'm in Costa Rica. I'm the only Black person there. And after the movie, not only did they like kill the whole thing, as soon as the movie goes off, lights go on, and I'm like, what are you doing? Do you not know this is a Marvel film? You don't do this? The people are leaving? I'm also just in awe. And I'm struck, and I'm holding the sides of my seat because I just experienced something, and it is jarring to me. And I can recognize that no one around understands. And my wife puts her arm on my shoulder, and I just lose it, because this movie meant so much more to me. Because this wasn't a hero of the hood. This was King T'Challa from Wakanda. My imagination was somewhere else. And those lights came on, and it was so disturbing to me. And so here I am in this packed out, yet lonely movie theater with the lights on, with tears streaming down my eyes, feeling embarrassed and frustrated. But I believe that Ryan Coogler, who designed that film as a director, intended for me to feel a certain way afterwards. I thought, why can't I bring that sort of experience in education? Because there are artists that understand these things and they do it on purpose. Great quote. It is literally neurobiologically impossible to think deeply about things that you don't care about. Consider that. Consider that. And we think, kids, you have to know this information. Why? Because it's on the test. Does that work? Scientifically even, it doesn't work. It can't. Research, we look at it. So we're at a WeVideo event, and we know we're at an ISTE event. Computer science and engineering is highlighted here. And look what's also clumped here at the top. Art and design, performing arts. We know that these are the things that the kids love. Look what's on the bottom. Sorry, math teachers, but you already knew it. But here's my question. When a school is quote unquote failing, what are the first things we take away? And we want them to do well on the test. Okay, you guys see the problem? It's a problem that needs to be solved. So we got to design think this. And I just thought about my own childhood. Here's a picture of me. Yes, that's me. It's not just a kid with an Instagram filter and got some clothes at Old Navy. That's me. In the 80s in San Diego. And I don't know what I was looking at, but I looked through my Google Photos and I'm like, I make that picture look. It's like everywhere. And it's like, wow, memories. And I can tell you about every single one of those pictures. I can tell you about every single one of those pictures and what I was experiencing. And I realized, you know what? We got to teach kids to care. If we can teach kids to care, and it's not teaching them the curriculum and telling them they got to care about it. We got to teach them to care. And I think the number one way that we can teach them to care is for us to care. For us to care about them. To care about where they come from, what their stories are, and ask them, can they share more? I think that's what our goal is as educators. So how? Hopefully I've inspired you just a little bit. And here are just a couple of things that I believe that we can do as educators to bring about this change in our classrooms. First of all, let's start here. Like, look around here. How is this room designed? What do you expect? You expect to listen to a talking head, right? But if we just change just a little bit, we have a different design with a different intention, right? This next little quick thing, it has some audio to it because I wish you could not only see this room and hear this room, but also smell the essential oils that were being diffused in this classroom. I walked in this classroom and I was like, whoa. Do you think that this teacher has classroom chill? I think that she created an environment where people can quietly listen and learn, right? This was my classroom, my last classroom that I taught in 2 years ago. This was first day of school. And I brought everybody in. I said, huddle in, guys, huddle in. Everybody's standing. And I said, look around. What do you want to see happen here? And we designed that classroom together. And we redesigned it sometimes based on whatever we were going to experience differently that day. This was me getting better at teaching, but not better at videography.
Y'all focus.
This isn't even mine.
We gotta put these together.
Well, you don't even have to put them together yet. You'll regather them all to put them together.
Look, man, they ain't got nothing for me to do. You
don't have any more questions for him? Everybody's done? What about that one? Is she done? Miss Adams, are you done? Are you done with your questions? Hey, here's my suggestion. Ask Miss Adams which question she has left, and you can take one or two of hers. Because you compile them tomorrow. How's it coming, y'all?
Hello.
Y'all working hard?
We combine tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys will combine them tomorrow. Hey, FYI, we got about 4 more minutes. Good job, you guys. Working hard. Keep working together. All right, so things were starting to get a little bit better. And this was just a couple years later in that same setting, or excuse me, in the same setting you saw earlier. And we don't have time for me, but you're gonna have to believe me, that happened for another 10 minutes. Complete silence, because we designed it that way. We had limited devices. It was the beginning of the year and all the Chromebooks weren't deployed yet and all that. It's like, okay, how do we use these limitations to our advantage and let's design an experience? And how do we do it so that the kids aren't fighting and arguing over all of the limited devices we had? Well, we just made a game out of it. You can see they were doing silent research on passion projects and there was a 10-minute timer. And it worked. Doing things like, this is one thing I love, and that's an SOS card. So if you've seen posters, shout out Digital Management, Heather Dowd, but the whole idea of ask 3 before me, I gamified it. Have a card. Say, any of you guys, if you have a problem, ask me if you need to. But remember, you have these other resources. But if you need me, raise the card and I'll come and help you and I'll take the card. So use it wisely. It's so crazy how that works. I don't know about you, but now that we're in this era of teaching the soft skills, and I have the question, like, how do you teach something like grit? How do you teach grit? Well, how I taught it, it was a big fat fail the first time. So I came to my advisory group of kids. I said, hey, let's grab some stuff from the pantry because I like to get into maker spaces and stuff. And the art teachers love me because I was always raiding their shelves. I was like, hey, let me get some of this stuff. Let's get some popsicle sticks. And I have these 15 boys and we're going to teach grit today. And I'm like, all right, boys, this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to give you some popsicle sticks. I'm going to give you access to YouTube. You're going to look up some videos. Here's something that's really, really cool. It's called exploding popsicle sticks. Check it out. And I thought it was going to be awesome. And the kids just started getting really mad. Really frustrated. And there's one kid in particular, his name is Jamad. He would like tell me up front, Miss Lanier, you need to understand, I get angry easy. And then I had another kid, Levi, and his mom said, what you need to understand is that he gets embarrassed easily. And if he gets embarrassed, he runs. I said, okay. All right. So then we do this. I give them all popsicle sticks. Things start going well at first, and then it starts to not go so well. And then Levi picks up the popsicle sticks. And I saw it like slow motion. Picks up these popsicle sticks, and here's Jamad on the other end. And I'm like, no, don't do it. And it was like slow-mo. No. Right into his face. And I'm like, uh-oh, Jamad is about to go off. Jamad's about to haul off on this kid. But before he could, Levi's gone. You guys ever deal with a runner? It's like APB, we got a kid, he's a runner. It was crazy. So that was a fail. Then we came back and said, we're going to try it again. And eventually, this is Jamad before school. I think we eventually taught grit because design thinking says, okay, if it fails, let's figure out what the problem is and let's figure it out. I just decided to start setting some new goals. So my standard was to start designing experiences instead of teaching lessons. My objective was to start making students curious instead of giving them the answers and telling them that it's important and that they needed to copy this because it was for the test. Instead, making them curious to want to know the answers to discover those answers for themselves. And then this was my essential question. The essential question for myself is, what relevant real-world problem could be solved after the kids learn this content? So telling them about a facsimile machine is completely irrelevant to them, right? And it just started making me think, how can we infuse art and design in everything we teach? Oh, wait a minute, we've actually done this before. We've just taken it away whenever our test scores get low. We're shop class. Okay, this one's gonna blow your mind. If you've not seen this before.
The DNA starts to unwind. The RNA reads the other side. Meiosis is the key to making life. Mitosis copy cells about to die. If my genes go left unread, all my cells are dead. If my genes go left unread, all my cells are dead. If my genes go left unread, all my cells are dead. If my genes go left unread, unwind the DNA. Prep for mitosis happens in the interphase. Then we move to prophase. Spindles start to shape. Chromatids condense as the bubble breaks down. Yeah, I'm talking membrane. Metaphase chromatids meet at the heart. Anaphase chromatids are put apart. See the phase forming a membrane will start. Water cell starts to catch back apart. Cytokinesis, the cycle is through. That's when cytoplasm is split up in two. Meiosis is a lie, except it happens twice.
What? I actually think I would enjoy science, right? I'm sorry, you're a science teacher. All right, I'm sorry, I'm just saying. I just think that if I was taught history a different way than just memorize these facts and put it on a timeline, I actually would have probably loved it. My kids know every single word. But we make it our job to bore kids to death, and I don't understand. And if it's like, what if we were just to tell them, hey, you like music? Cool, make a song with this content. You don't have to be the ones doing it. So as we wrap up, I think that what we need to do, the how in all of this, is to consider that, all right, let me say it this way. If you're going to memorize anything, memorize this, that assigners create the conditions for critique, but designers create the conditions for creativity. So be a designer. One of the things that I had the privilege of helping design Smashboard EDU, and the reason why I say I got to help design, because all it is creating the conditions for kids to solve real world problems and then to showcase their solutions using tools like a WeVideo or others. So my name is D. Lanier. More than just the rhythm. I design teaching and learning experiences for kids
Excuse
and
interruption,
adults.
Miss Snyder,
What do
please
you
call
do?
the main office. Miss Snyder, please call the main office.
My name is Bethany Gonzalez and I teach 3rd grade. I love using WeVideo in the classroom because of the self-expression and the creativity that it really allows students. The things that they produce are so amazing.
My name is Ms. Toles. I teach 8th grade. Project-based learning and collaboration in my classroom using WeVideo looks great because you have all the students working together on a project. For example, I had the students do a women's history essay. The information they gathered and they came into a group to collaborate, and now they're going to turn into an informational video about women's history.
WeVideo is very simple, so you don't have to know much to be able to do it. We retain a lot more of the information because if you're writing a project or a paper, you get bored really easily, but when you're having fun, you actually retain more information and learn better.
They're creating, they're thinking, they're writing, they're speaking, they're listening. They're doing everything that we want them to do in school, but it's in a fun way.
I speak for the whole WeVideo team. It truly is a pleasure for us, for you all to attend this event today. WeVideo has been around now since 2011. And in that 2011, we've had a lot of traction. Over 10 million students have used WeVideo in the classroom with it. So I thought I'll spend a little bit of time today talking about what we've learned through that journey in terms of video creation in the classroom. And then I'm going to end the talk by showing you something that we're going to announce, which is more looking ahead as to what we're working on. First, let's start with some data. About a couple years ago, we did a fairly detailed survey of educators, and what we're trying to figure out was, what's the importance of video in the classroom, especially video creation, and then eventually, how does WeVideo play into their curriculum? And what we found was that 2/3 of educators believe that video stimulates discussion and increases student motivation. So this is just pure use of video in the classroom. And then you look at in terms of video creation, 85% believe that video creation is a critical skill going on. And then when you look at WeVideo itself, you can see that there's a 92% approval of WeVideo, using WeVideo in the classroom for video creation. So clearly, the use of video in the classroom is important and increasing. I don't know if all of you are familiar with WeVideo, so I thought I'll talk a little bit about what it is. At the heart of it, it's a video creation platform intended for K-12 to meet the teaching and learning goals in the classroom. Now, what does that mean? Of course, at the heart of it, it is a video editor, but there's a bunch of other features that kind of make it critical in the classroom environment. We take our privacy very seriously, especially student privacy. So it's completely built to be COPPA and FERPA compliant. It's web-based and cloud-based. So all you need is a browser to get started. It completely takes away any dependence on hardware. As I mentioned, the two key features from a student perspective are both creativity and collaboration in the classroom. You can have students collaborating with each other or teachers collaborating with each other, and students and teachers also. We learned early on that this could be used in any grade level, which means you've got people with different skill sets using it. So we had to create something that's had a sort of adaptive user experience to make sure that when a first grader uses it, they don't find it intimidating. And on the other hand, if an eighth grader is using it, there's enough functionality for them to do their projects. And then the administration part of it. When you get to larger districts with 20, 30,000 students, it has to be easy for the IT administrators to manage it. And that's where we've got integrations with student information systems and all that. So we don't have to worry about when a student leaves the system that they have to go in and manually delete it. We automatically do it for you. So it's all developed for the classroom itself. In terms of 21st century skills, educators now have collaborative projects to acquire what we call the 4 C's, which is creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. And these collaboration projects, again, like it could be teachers initiating it or students working with each other, and of course teachers providing feedback to students on their work itself. In terms of adoption, as you can see, for a long time, we actually most of our growth has been organic. It's basically teachers using it and then telling other teachers about it. It wasn't like we were out there going marketing. So most of and thanks to you all, that's how we had our growth. And in that 7 or 8 year stretch, we've had 10 million plus students using it in over 8,000 schools right now. So clearly, we've had a lot of adoption in the classroom, and we continue to grow on a yearly basis. And these are some things that educators are talking about. As first and foremost, they like the fact that we're providing this medium for students to display the learning. Most students these days are not only digitally native, but they're also video native because that's in their everyday life. The other part they like it a lot is, and you heard that in the video, is that it's easy to use. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a first grader or eighth grader, the platform is deep and it's also easy to adopt you can adapt the user experience based on what the skill level of the user is. And, and we found this data, of course, we have a lot of data that we collect, and we found was that when you look at schools itself, it's equally used whether it's primary, middle, or high school. So it's not just it's used in primary school or in high schools. It's used across the different grades. And then if you look at the different subjects, again, it's English language arts, history, math, everything is covered. So it's not just a question of acquiring video skills. It's using video as a way of learning in the classroom. What do you say? And again, so this is the data that shows that how it's used in different classrooms and different curriculum. And by the way, at the end of this meeting here, we'll have the presentation available for everybody else if you want to see what the data is. And if you're trying to see what the functionality is, it's again, there's many different ways of using WeVideo in the classroom. You could do a podcast. Again, it's a very popular activity, or you could do green screens, project-based learning. We've actually provided over 1 million plus items of content as part of a thing. That's curated especially for the classroom. So it's all been cleaned up and made sure that it's student appropriate with it. And again, so it just shows that it's a very flexible platform that supports many different workflows in the classroom. Here's an example of the different grades, and I'm not going to play each video here. So on the top left, you've got a first grader creating a book report using a green screen. And then you go to 8th graders on the top there doing a history project, which is a lot more scripted, a lot more planned and produced with it. So again, the platform kind of evolves as the student skills evolve. It's not like a one-time thing that you use in a grade. You use it throughout your academic career. So that was a lot about what we've done and what we've learned so far. Clearly, we've seen the importance of video creation in the classroom. And we spent the last couple of years thinking about, hey, what is it, where do we see this going? Our focus has a lot been on collaboration and things like that. And we talked to a lot of teachers like you and ambassadors and things like that to figure out what is it that we need to do to kind of take the platform forward. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And first, we focus a lot on students and students adopting it, but it's important that we get teachers also to adopt it, because teachers have busy days and they don't have enough time to adopt these technologies. So what we've done is, what if we made it easier to integrate classroom workflows, whether these workflows have to do with assignments or creating lesson plans. What if we made it easier for them to use that within WeVideo? And those are some of the things we're thinking about. And then if you look and say, it's not just about the technology, it's so much about collaboration. It's, how do the students work with other students? How do the students work with our teachers and so on? So collaboration was, again, how do we take it to the next level? And when you specifically go into collaboration, you've got, you have two teachers who want to work with each other in lesson planning or co-facilitating. So we need to be able to make it as flexible as possible for teachers to work with it, and also for students to work with this. It's not just students collaborating locally in their classroom or with another classroom. They're collaborating with students in other countries, so more global classrooms. So we want to make these collaboration models very flexible to allow anybody to collaborate with each other. And so after spending a lot of time with teachers, ambassadors, students, we're finally ready to launch the new WeVideo. And this is just the initial version. It doesn't replace what we have, it adds on to what we have. It's going to be available in September, but it's a controlled release, so it's going to be for a select few, and we'll give you information how you sign up for it. But the idea here is that we're developing something that's going to take collaboration, creativity to the next level. So, and you guys are the first one to see this. So I'm going to start off by showing you a video, and then I'll describe a little bit more about what it is. Thank you. So what we've done is we've taken what we have today, which is done very well for us, and focused a lot more on classroom workflows. How do we bring that in? More collaboration models. So we could look a little bit more into it. Things like lesson plans. So you've got a teacher who comes in. Like I talked a lot about teacher adoption. How do we make it easier? All you have to say is, I'm a 5th grade history teacher, and we'll give you ideas on how to use it in the classroom. And then once you have that, you can create assignments, create teams, create assignments. Again, it's very step-by-step process there. And once it's assigned to the students can work on it. And as they're working on it, the teachers can observe what they're doing, how far they're in their creation process. And then when you're done with it, you submit the assignments. So the teacher keeps track of who submitted it, and then they can review and provide feedback. So it's another way of collaboration where within the system, you can not only create assignments, but you can also grade and provide feedback on the assignments. And that's all part of the process going forward. Now this, right now, this is what we've got in the first version. Over the next 12 months, we're going to evolve this more into additional collaboration tools, more creativity tools. And that's really come next year, early next year, most of that will be completed, and you'll have a brand new version of WeVideo with a lot more functionality. Any questions? Yes.
So at the end, when the students have mixed the video, do the students see each other's submission? Or just...
You can set it up in a way that they can, the students can also see it, or just the teachers and students see it. Again, we want to make the collaboration model as flexible as possible.
Yeah, I want students to learn.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, that's a great way of learning it.
This new verdict when two students edit at the same time?
We're looking into ways of doing it. Exactly how we want to do it is not quite clear, because if you do it like Google Docs, it might be a little bit complicated. So this is where there's a challenge where maybe we show them what they're doing, but not be able to edit it. So you can see what somebody else is doing because it's updating in real time, but maybe you don't let them edit at the same time.
My name's Katie Adelman, and I teach 6th grade language arts and social studies at Dartmouth Middle School in San Jose, California. I love using WeVideo with Chromebooks because my students each have their own Chromebook. We're a one-to-one district, so they always have their Chromebooks with them. So it's super easy to use because every child has access. So right now my students are working on podcasts. They're recording their voices, recording music to go with it, and sound effects. Really having a really, really great time.
Hi, my name is Randy Martino. I am the principal of Dartmouth Middle School in San Jose, California, and I've been in education for 26 years. The process started by a few teachers who are really innovators, and they have been utilizing it for their units on storytelling. Really kind of caught on with our other teachers and other content levels, and much more simplified than what products the other teachers have been using. The WeVideo product ties into our 21st century initiative by making students autonomous with their learning, being able to project their thinking and critical thinking, being able to access information, the ability for teachers to correct and analyze information online, transforms feedback and transforms learning.
I like using WeVideo on my Chromebook because there are lots of different ways that you can split audio and images, and it's really simple to do. WeVideo has helped me learn my lessons in a more fun way, and I feel like that's a lot more productive.
Some teachers might be reluctant to try using technology in the classroom. They don't need to know everything. Their students will teach them, and that's what's been really great for me is I've learned through my students, and we've kind of gone on this journey together where we try this and make it better and help each other and collaborate by creating these videos in the classroom. I would say just go for it.
So as you know, that most of my teammates actually live in the Bay Area. And so one day my husband and I were talking, we were like, we want to move to a thriving metropolis too. It needs high energy and you know, a vibrant nightlife. So what we decided to do was to actually move to that place, and we picked up and moved to right in the middle of the state of Maine. And so we live there now, a beautiful place. And when I was watching Dee's presentation, he was showing off his Google Home. And I was thinking about, well, we have some pretty amazing technology in our home in Maine as well. And how many of you have seen the Ring app before? It's the doorbell app that captures video. And you've seen the viral videos that people steal Amazon packages off of your front porch, and you like talk to them and scare them like I'm watching, and that's my package. So we decided, you know, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, so we should probably make sure we are secure. So we purchased the Ring cameras, and so we had this aerial view. And what happens is that you get a notification, not like that though, you get a notification that someone is at your front door. So one night, 2 a.m., we get a notification someone's at our front door, and you're thinking, oh, what's going on here? And so we opened up our phone, and this is what we saw. So it was not anybody stealing our Amazon package, it was a black bear. And this is our front door. And he's like, I'm checking it out. Let me see what's happening here. There's like nothing interesting here, but I smell something. What's over here? I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little something up on the top there, a little bird feeder there. So I don't know if he's done his pull-ups, so I have no clue if he's going to be able to do this at the time. Oh, I see a paw. Oh, I see 2 paws. Come on, girl, get it. You got this. Get up there. Oh, get up there. Oh, you made it. Oh, yeah. Reward. And so we posted this on social media, and everyone was sending us messages like, stupid, you live in Maine, you have a bird feeder, you're supposed to hide it. And I was like, I don't know if it was the bird feeder, because I walked out in the front door and I looked down and I realized that this was our welcome mat. So there we go. So obviously we bought the technology, and instead we're getting the Discovery Channel. We've seen every animal known to the state of Maine. And it does remind me in the connection here for education and technology. I think about as teachers, and we get this technology thrown at us, and many times technology was not made for education. Many times the district says, here's your technology, make it work for your classroom. And many times as educators, we are expected to pull rabbits out of hats. We are expected to take this technology and make magic out of it and make these beautiful learning experiences, as Dee was talking about. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. I think it's difficult because our classrooms may not look like this today, but a lot of our school structures still emulate this system. And so it's very, very hard to do technology integration well when you have an antiquated system of procedures and systems and structures. And so you hear people say, yeah, but okay, creativity is great, and critical thinking, communication, but don't we still need to be teaching students reading, writing, arithmetic, where this statement comes from in the antiquated classroom? And yes, those are foundational skills that must be taught in the classroom. But I think back at some of the famous mathematicians and scientists, and many people think that because they had so much knowledge stored, or they were naturally quote unquote smart, that they discovered maybe gravity or some concept. And if you read Isaac Newton's story, we have no clue if it was an apple that hit him on his head or not. That's still debatable. It could have been a glass of wine for all we know. But something hit him in his head, and he was thinking about things. And there are all these theories floating around about the moon, how it orbits the Earth. And so it wasn't the fact that he had all these equations memorized in his head that led him to discover gravity. It was creativity. And so you hear a lot about creativity in the classroom, and the question is, why aren't we seeing more of it happening? Why is it not scalable? And I say this a lot because I think it's so true. When you look at creativity, you think, oh, it's autonomous, it's free floating. You let kids have voice and you let kids have choice. And I like to say that creativity is 1% process and 99% mindset, but it's that 1% that gets away of the 99%. And many times as teachers, we aren't given structures to let students unleash that creativity. They just say, hey, your kids should be creative, make it work. Let them be creative. Which is why I love the WeVideo tool, because we have developed a structure to help students be more creative in the classroom. It led me to write this book, WeVideo Every Day, because I wanted to help educators think about some ideas about how they could use WeVideo in the classroom every day, not just a historical documentation, which is great, not just an end of unit project, but actually quick, easy strategies. So everyone here does get a free copy of. So I would love to connect with you. If you don't catch me today, I will also be at the EdTech team booth tomorrow from 12 to 1 to chat and sign books. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you all for coming today.